There's something I want you to think about for a moment. What if the key to attraction, real, magnetic, deeply felt attraction, had very little to do with money, status, or even physical appearance? What if the thing that truly separates unforgettable men from forgettable ones is far simpler, yet far more powerful than most people realize? Today, we're diving into an idea that sounds almost too simple at first. In fact, many people dismiss it precisely because of its simplicity. But hidden inside this concept is a shift that can completely transform how you connect with women, especially as you mature and grow older. And no, this isn't about manipulation, tricks, or rehearsed lines. It's about something far more fundamental: how you communicate your inner world. For years, relationship experts, psychologists, and social observers have tried to decode attraction. People assume the biggest factors are wealth, looks, or flashy charisma. But when you study real interactions, not Hollywood fantasies, not social media illusions, but real human dynamics, a very different pattern begins to emerge. The men who consistently create strong emotional connections are rarely the ones obsessing over clever pickup lines. They're not necessarily the wealthiest or the most conventionally attractive. Instead, they tend to share one defining trait. They communicate their emotions and intentions directly. Not loudly, not arrogantly, not desperately, but clearly. This is where two deceptively small phrases enter the picture. Phrases that carry psychological weight far beyond their size. The first is, "I want." At first glance, it sounds almost trivial. Of course, people say, "I want," all the time. But very few say it with grounded confidence, emotional certainty, and authenticity. When a man genuinely expresses, "I want," something subtle yet profound happens. He is not fishing for approval. He is not hiding behind vagueness. He is not shrinking himself to avoid rejection. Instead, he is stepping into ownership of his desires. That single shift changes everything. Most men, without even realizing it, communicate uncertainty in their everyday interactions. You've probably heard, or maybe even used, phrases like, "We could maybe hang out sometime, if you'd like." "I don't know, what do you feel like doing?" "Whatever works for you." On the surface, these sound polite, easygoing, harmless, but beneath them often lies something else. Fear of taking initiative, fear of imposing, fear of rejection. Human communication is rarely interpreted only at the level of words. Tone, posture, eye contact, and emotional energy all shape the message. And when a man consistently avoids expressing what he wants, he unintentionally signals hesitation. Now, compare that with a different energy. "I want to take you out this weekend. I know a place you'll love." Notice the difference. The statement is not aggressive. It's not demanding. It's simply clear, decisive, self-assured. Clarity is deeply attractive because it communicates internal stability. It tells the other person, "I know my preferences. I'm comfortable expressing them. I'm not afraid of direction." This is psychologically significant because confidence is not merely about self-belief. It's about reducing emotional friction in an interaction. When someone expresses intent clearly, it creates a sense of ease. There's no guessing game, no awkward ambiguity. But the real power of "I want" goes even deeper. Attraction is strongly influenced by polarity, the dynamic tension between complementary energies. When a man comfortably takes initiative, he naturally occupies a space associated with decisiveness and leadership. This often evokes a reciprocal response: openness, curiosity, emotional engagement. However, there is an important balance to understand. If a man only expresses what he wants without demonstrating emotional awareness, he risks appearing self-focused or transactional. Desire alone, when detached from appreciation, can feel one-dimensional. This is where the second phrase becomes transformative. "I appreciate." These two words carry an entirely different emotional frequency. While I want expresses direction and intention, I appreciate expresses recognition and value. Together, they form a powerful combination. Imagine the difference between these two statements. I want to see you again versus I want to see you again because I really appreciate how you think. Conversations with you feel different. The second statement does something extraordinary. It communicates desire while simultaneously acknowledging the other person's inner qualities. It says, I'm drawn to you not just for how you look or the role you play, but for who you are. This distinction matters more than most people realize. Many interactions are saturated with surface-level compliments, comments about appearance, clothing, or obvious traits. While such compliments aren't inherently wrong, they rarely create deep emotional resonance on their own. Genuine appreciation, on the other hand, touches identity. When you express sincere appreciation, you validate aspects of a person that are often invisible or overlooked. Their mindset, energy, humor, perspective, creativity, or emotional presence. You're not merely reacting, you're perceiving. And being truly seen is one of the most powerful emotional experiences a human being can have. There's another subtle layer here that's easy to miss. Appreciation feels radically different from approval seeking. When someone praises another person from a place of neediness, it often carries an undertone of dependency. Please like me, please choose me. But when appreciation arises from a position of self-assuredness, it communicates choice rather than need. I appreciate you is strongest when it implies, I value this quality in you, not, I desperately require your validation. Humans are remarkably sensitive to these distinctions, even if they can't articulate them consciously. Emotional authenticity is detected not through logic, but through congruence, the alignment between words, tone, facial expression, and body language. This brings us to one of the most critical and most commonly ignored factors in communication: congruence. You can say all the right words and still create the wrong impression if your nonverbal signals contradict your message. If someone declares, I want to take you out, while avoiding eye contact, speaking timidly, or collapsing their posture, the emotional signal becomes mixed. The words project confidence, the body projects doubt, and mixed signals weaken impact. Congruence is not about acting or exaggerating confidence. It's about embodying what you say. Standing comfortably, speaking with calm certainty, allowing pauses, letting sincerity breathe. When intention, emotion, and physical presence align, communication acquires a quality that feels grounded and trustworthy. Another dimension that dramatically shapes how messages are received is timing. Effective communication is not about mechanically repeating certain phrases. It's about choosing moments where those phrases carry emotional relevance. Context gives words their power. Saying I want randomly or excessively can feel unnatural, but expressed at a meaningful moment, inviting someone to an experience, clarifying interest, or closing a memorable interaction, it can create lasting emotional impressions. Consider the end of a genuinely enjoyable date. There's a quiet pause, a shared sense of connection. That is the moment where something simple yet deeply impactful can be said. I want to do this again. I really appreciate the energy you bring. Such statements linger in memory because they combine desire, recognition, and emotional clarity. They transform an interaction from casual to meaningful. And memory plays a profound role in attraction. People rarely remember every detail of a conversation, but they vividly recall how someone made them feel. Emotional impressions, once formed, often shape future curiosity and anticipation. At its heart, this entire concept is not about techniques. It's about emotional honesty expressed with confidence and respect. Direct communication reduces confusion. Appreciation deepens connection. Congruence builds trust. Timing creates impact. None of this requires perfection, extraordinary charm, or rehearsed cleverness. It requires presence, self-awareness, and the courage to express genuine thoughts without hiding behind excessive caution or artificial performance. Perhaps the most liberating aspect of all this is the realization that attraction is not about becoming someone else. It's about expressing yourself more clearly, more confidently, and more authentically. You don't need to be flawless. You don't need to deliver cinematic speeches. You don't need to imitate exaggerated personalities. You simply need to be real, but real with intention, clarity, and emotional intelligence. Because authenticity, when combined with self-assurance, carries a kind of quiet magnetism that no scripted line can replicate. And Sophia, if there is one idea to carry forward from all of this, it's this. Connection grows where honesty and confidence meet. Express what you want without fear. Express what you appreciate without hesitation. Let your words, voice, and presence align. The rest is not force. It is resonance.